the north and the west, we call it the
This call is now taking notes.
call it the,
This call is now being recorded.
the northwest. And also, we proceeded to say that the point between the south and the east was the southeast. So this is a quick review of what we did the last time. Also, the point between the south and west is called the southwest. Then we also proceeded to say that angles are read when they are bordered with the north or when they're bordered with the south. So if you have an angle like this, if you have an angle like this, and maybe you have 25 degrees, of course we know that this is east and this is south. Then since this angle borders with the south, then we can easily say that this bearing, this compass bearing, is south 25 degrees east. Can everyone see the board? Can everyone see the board? Okay, all right. So we did say that when we have something like this, the
No,
25
I
degrees
can't see
borders
the
with the
bubble.
south. Then,
No,
oh, you can't see the board. Please, others should respond. Can you see the board? Please respond with a thumbs up if you can see the board. Okay, so others can see the board. If you're not seeing the board, it could be that your network is bad, but I would advise you to disconnect from the call and try to rejoin again. All right, so we're continuing with a quick review of what we did from the last class. So we started with this, that from the last class, we said the north, south, west, and east are the primary points on the compass. Then we have the point between the north and the east is referred to as the northeast. Then the point between the south and the east is the southeast. We also have points between the north and west. It's referred to as the northwest, and the point between the south and west is referred to as the southwest. Now we're trying to determine how to get the compass bearings. We say to get the compass bearings, the angle must border with the north or with the south. If the angle is bordered with the north or with the south, then you can simply read it as what you see. Like this example here, we have the angle 25 degrees bordering with the south. By bordering, I mean that the angle 25 degrees is touching the south. 25 degrees is touching the south. So as far as 25 degrees touches the south, and that angle is between the south and the east, then we say this is south 25 degrees east. But then if we try to change this question here, we try to change this question and change it into something like this. Let us say, let the 25 degrees be here instead, 25 degrees. So we do know that this is east and this is south. Now, in this case, we cannot say that the compass bearing is south 25 degrees east. In this case, we can't say the compass bearing is south 25 degrees east. The reason why we can't say that is because that 25 degrees is touching the east. 25 degrees is touching the east, whereas 25 degrees was supposed to be touching the south because the bearings are read from north or from south. When you look at this here, you see all you have is northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. There is nothing like east, south, or west, south, or east, north, or west, north. That being said, the bearing must be northeast, northwest, or southeast, southwest. But then when you come here to this question, you would see that the 25 degrees is touching the east, and we can't say east 25 degrees south. So we have to look for that number that is supposed to touch the south, the number has to touch the south. And then that brings us back to the first to the fourth quadrant, where we did say that each quadrant would be 90, 90, 90, and then this is 90. So this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and then this is the fourth quadrant. So each quadrant possesses 90 degrees. Now, if this place here is 25 degrees, if you have 25 degrees now, which is not touching the south, and as such we can't say it is east 25 degrees south, what is that balance angle that can touch the south such that it will complete 90 degrees? What is that balance angle that can touch the south such that it completes 90 degrees? And then you see that this would lead us to having something like this. If this is 25 degrees, then that balance angle to complete the 90 degrees would give us 65 degrees here. So this completes it 90 degrees. And if we have 65 degrees here, then as far as that 65 degrees is now touching the south, the 65 degrees now is touching the south. As far as it touches the south, then we can say that this bearing is south 65 degrees east. So the bearing now becomes south 65 degrees east. Whereas when the angle was touching the east, when it was 25 degrees touching the east, we refused to say the answer is south 25 degrees east. That was because it was touching the east. We needed it to touch the south. It is when it touches the south, that is when we read it. And we know that that full place between the south and the east is 90 degrees. So if this place now is 25 degrees, then the balance that should touch the south such that it completes 90 degrees is now 65 degrees. And now when we have an angle touching the south, that is when we can pick the result and say south 65 degrees east. It's unlike this first question. If you see this first question here, the 25 degrees was already touching the south. So we just said south 25 degrees east. So this was the answer. But for this one, the 25 degrees wasn't touching the east, wasn't touching the south rather. So what we had to do was to look for that balance that will make it that will be touching the south to complete the 90 degrees. And then when we looked for the balance, we got 65 degrees. And then we said the correct compass bearing is 65 degrees east. So this is a revision of the compass bearing we did look at in the other class. So today I think, oh no, we did proceed from there, from compass bearing the other day. We proceeded into the three-digit bearing. I think this is where we have to continue from, but we'll have to take a quick revision of the three-digit bearing, the part we did the other time from the last class. So in this three-digit bearing, we say that the three-digit bearings are, read differently from the compass bearing. We have this as 90, 90, 90, 90. This is the first, the second, the third, and then the fourth. We say that in the first quadrant, the angles we have there in the first quadrant are angles between 0 to 90. You can see there, the first quadrant has 90 degrees. So the angles we have there in the first quadrant are between 0 to 90 degrees. Any angle that is given to you that falls somewhere between 0 and 90 degrees should be located in the first quadrant. Then in the second quadrant, we said angles that are greater than 90 to 180. That is what you can find in the second quadrant. Then that you can see it here. You can see it here. First quadrant 0 to 90. Second quadrant, you see that you have in the second quadrant, you see that you have this here. From here to here, you'll be seeing 1990. That arrow, the purple arrow, 1990, that's 180. So in the second quadrant, any angle that goes beyond 90 to 180 degrees, that is what you should have in the second quadrant. Then if you proceed to the third quadrant, that's plus another 90 in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, you should have angles that are bigger than 180 to 270. That's 90 plus 90 plus 90 in the third quadrant. So the third quadrant is 270. And then we can say that in the third quadrant, we have angles that are greater than 180 to 270. Okay. Now I'll need someone to tell us the type of angles that can be located in the fourth quadrant. So I'll be asking some persons were more active in the last class, so I will not be asking those same people today. So let's ask Lucas. Lucas, can you unmute your mic? Lucas.
No.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, very good. So Lucas, let's hear from you. From the last class, from the information we had in the last class, what type of angles can we find in the fourth quadrant?
More than 280 to 360.
More than 280 or 270?
Oh, sorry, 270 to 360.
Okay, so in the fourth quadrant, we have greater than 270 to 360. So this is the dynamics of how you deal with three-digit bearings. So please take note, the three-digit bearings are not dealt with the same way you deal with compass bearing. Compass bearings, you're dealing with north and south. That's how you get your bearings. But in three-digit bearings, you are actually dealing from the north down to wherever the position is that you are actually looking for. That is what you do. All right, so now we shall try to see the relationship between three-digit bearing and compass bearing. Relationship between three-digit bearing and compass bearing. So let's look at that there. Let's call this relationship between three digits and compass bearing. Okay. All right. So this is what we're looking at now. The relationship between three digits and compass bearing. We're looking at this to see how we can differentiate three digits and, of course, compass bearing. Now we'll try to maybe let's draw a table. Let's draw a table. Maybe that will help. Let's draw a table here. Let's call this compass and let's call this three digits. The purpose of this part now is we're trying to see how we can change compass bearing to three-digit bearing and how we can change three-digit bearing to compass bearing. That's what we're trying to look at here. How we can change compass bearing to three-digit bearing and how we can change three-digit bearing to compass bearing. So let's start with, let's say, number one. What do you think would be the compass bearing the 3-digit bearing for this south, let's say south 35 degrees east. South 35 degrees east. What is the compass? If you are to convert south 35 degrees east as a compass bearing, because you know, of course, compass bearing is the one that deals with southeast or northeast or northwest and stuff. Now, if you are to convert south 35 degrees east as a compass bearing to a 3-digit bearing, what would it be? All right, so we will try to illustrate that south 35 degrees east as a compass bearing. We'll have to illustrate it first to see what it looks like. So south 35 degrees east should be of this is the east, this is the south. So south 35 degrees east should be this 35 here. We'll have the 35 here. So south 35 degrees east would look like this. South 35 degrees east. Now let us convert south 35 degrees east. Let us convert it to a 3-digit bearing and see what we will have. So we'll come to the side of the 3-digit bearing. We're trying same thing. 35 degrees. 35 degrees here. Now, in 3-digit bearings, you measure the bearings from the north until you get to this line. Let me label the line here for you. Until you get to this line, I'll mark red. This line I mark red. That is where you will stop until you get to the line marked red. That is where you stop. Remember, the compass bearing is south 35 degrees east. So we illustrated it here, what south 35 degrees east is. That is for compass bearing. Now we want to convert this south 35 degrees east in compass bearing. We want to convert it to 3-digit bearing and see what result we should have. Remember that in 3-digit bearing, you always read from the north down until you get that line. That line will marked red. Until you get to that line, you marked red before you stop. So let's read the compass bearing now. And the 3-digit bearing, we'll read from the north down until we get to the line that you marked red. Now remember that from the north to the south, originally, it's supposed to give us 180, because in the first quadrant we have 90, in the second quadrant we have 92. So from the north to the south, it's supposed to give us 180. That's what we're supposed to have. But now we have that this small place between the south and the east, that's the south 35 degrees east, is 35. So what is the value of this remaining angle that should come from the north until we get to this line we marked red? Remember, north to south is 180 degrees. So what will be this remaining angle from the north until we get to the line that we marked red? What should be the remaining angle? So if everything from north to the south is 180 degrees, then that remaining angle should be the balance that we should have. And that balance would be 180 minus 35. And 180 minus 35 gives us 145 degrees. So the 3-digit bearing that when you convert south 35 degrees east, the 3-digit bearing that we should have is 145 degrees. So I'll take that again. The compass bearing was originally south 35 degrees east. So we now drew the south 35 degrees east. to see how it looks like. Now we're trying to convert this south 35 degrees east as a compass bearing to a 3-digit bearing. Remember, a 3-digit bearing must have 3 digits, and you don't read it the same way you read a compass bearing. In 3-digit bearing, you don't say south this, you don't say southeast or southwest or northeast or south or northwest. You just read from the north until you get to that line that you drew. And then I did come back here. We said the first quadrant is 90 degrees, second quadrant 90 degrees. That means from first to second quadrant, from north to south, we are supposed to have 180 degrees in total. Okay, so coming here, we already have that small place as 35 degrees. So the question now is, what is that balance that when we remove 35, we already know that everything should be 180 from north to that south. And now we've gotten 35 degrees. So what is that balance once we take 35 degrees from 180 degrees? That balance will be 180 minus 35 degrees. And then the 3-digit bearing, when you convert south 35 degrees east, is 146 degrees. Do you understand this? If you understand what I just said, please give a thumbs up. Okay, Matilda. Okay, Matilda. All right. Okay, that's good. So we shall now proceed to another one. Remember, my duty is to solve theory. I'll solve theory, and then we'll start asking the class to solve one after the other. So please, if you do not understand, you are very free. You have every right to ask questions if you have to. So this is just for number one. Let's try to proceed to number two. So we're done with number one. We have converted the south 35 degrees east. We have converted it to a 3-digit bearing. And when we did convert that, we got 145 degrees as a 3-digit bearing. Okay, so let's proceed and see what we can do converting. Let's convert not 20 degrees west. Let's convert not 20 degrees west to a 3-digit bearing. Convert not 20 degrees west to a 3-digit bearing. So doing this again, it's paramount that you have to try to draw an illustration so that it helps you with what you have to do. So try to illustrate what not 20 degrees west means first. So not 20 degrees west would be, you already know that this is the north, this is the west. Then not 20 degrees west should be not 20 degrees west should be something like this. I have 20 degrees here. Okay, so this is not 20 degrees west. Remember, that is a compass bearing. The 20 degrees has to touch the north. That's why it's like that, not 20 degrees west. Okay, so let's try to change this not 20 degrees west into a 3-digit bearing. That's at the other side. So again, we'll try to write that illustration. We have 20 here, 20. Okay, then remember that I'll mark the line where you have to stop again, not 20 degrees west. So I'll mark the line where you have to stop. The line where you're stopping is this line marked red. The line marked red, that's where you will stop. So draw a line from the north. 3-digit bearings are always read from the north. They are not like compass bearings. Compass bearings, you read them from the north or from the south. But in 3-digit bearing, you only read them from the north until you get to that line where you have to stop. So the 3-digit bearing here, I'll read from my north. I read from my notes from here. I'll continue to go until I get to this line before I will stop. So I am reading my 3-digit bearing from the notes. I will continue to draw the line until I get to that one marked red before I will stop reading. Now I have gotten to the one marked red and then I will stop. Okay, so now time to start reading. Time to start reading the values here. In the first quadrant, I have 90. In the second quadrant, I have another 90. That's 180. In the third quadrant, I have 270. That is 90 here, 90 here, 90 here. So I now have a total of 270 by the time I stop in this my third quadrant. By the time I stop in my third quadrant, I have a total of 270. All right. So stopping at the third quadrant, I have a total of 270. But then you know that you have to follow that line until the red part before you stop. So now, if I say that from my first quadrant to this my third quadrant, I'll mark where this part here, I'll mark it with purple. From my third quadrant to this place, marked purple, I have 270. So let's say purple equals to 270. That place marked purple is equals to 270. The reason why is because first quadrant 90 plus 90 for the second quadrant plus 90 for the third quadrant. That's that purple place, that purple, that west. That purple is the west. That west is 270. So I still have an extra line that I have to follow before I'll get to the red. But I don't know that actual angle that is there for that other small line I have to follow before the red. So what then do? I know that if I come back here, I know that I have 90 in each of them, 90, 90, 90 in each of them. Okay, so if I come back here, I have 20 at the northwest, 20 degrees. So, but I don't know this balance small place. Let me mark it. How do I mark this now? Let's mark that balance small place we don't know as yellow. This balance small place marks yellow now. We don't know what it means. How many degrees are there? We do not know, but we know that that full place should be 90. So if that balance, if that stop is 20, what should be that balance yellow place? That place I marked yellow, how many degrees should be there? So let someone help us with that. Who will help us with the part?
So
70. Who says that? Who said 70? Please repeat yourself. 70. Who says that?
I'm the one.
All right, very good, Matilda. Thank you so much. So 70 degrees. Melody, do you think that Matilda could be wrong? Matilda said that this balance place marked yellow should be 70. Remember, we're tracing this line from the north. This line we drew, we're tracing it from the north down until we stop. We have to stop at the part that we marked red. Yeah. So from the north down to the part we marked yellow is 270. But there's still an extra line before we get to that red, and we do not know what angle will be there. Now, Matilda has helped us to say that that small line from the purple to the red, that angle should be 70 degrees. So Melody, do you think that we should agree with Matilda? Okay, Melody, we're actually waiting for you. Okay, I do not think Melody is active in the class. Let's ask, Lucas has answered one question before now. So let's ask, is there Leke? Is there Leke or something? Yeah, that's the name. What do you think? Is it Leke? Is that, did I pronounce your name correctly? Hey.
That's our principal.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So Efosa, or is Efosa the vice principal? Efosa, are you the vice
No.
principal? Okay. All right. So, Efosa, let's hear from you. Do you think that we have to agree with Matilda that this part marked yellow is 70 degrees? What do you think?
Yes, sir. I agree. It's 70 degrees.
All right, good. So I think that I want to agree as well that that part marked yellow is 70 degrees. So if the part marked yellow is 70 degrees, and remember that we have to count these from the north until we get to that line that we marked red. So if from the north to the purple line, that the part we marked here in purple is 270, and we have all agreed that that other smaller angle between the purple and the red is 70. That means our three-digit bearing should be 270 plus 70 degrees. That is 270 from the north to the purple plus that extra angle before you get to red, which is 70 degrees. And then the result here would be 340 340 degrees. 340 degrees. So, does everyone understand this? I need vocal response. Does everyone understand this? Vocal response,
Yes, sir.
please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, okay. All right, good. So now we will. Okay, who doesn't understand? Who doesn't understand? Who said she doesn't understand? Hello, someone said she doesn't understand. Who? Okay, so there's no response, so I would not know what to do there because the person has refused to respond. So, what about converting? What about converting a three-digit bearing?
Me.
What about
It's me.
what's your name? Winner? Is it winner? Winner, you do not understand. Okay, Winner, you've been going off and on. I've been seeing you going off and on from the class. So that could be the reason why you don't understand. You've been going off and on, off and on. So I guess that's the reason why you do not understand. So I think you will have to wait for when we will have a recap of it. That would be when we're done with this particular part. I'll surely take a recap of it, a review of it, and then you get up to speed from there. Is that okay? All right. So now let us try to the first two examples we have converted three-digit. In the first two examples, we converted compass bearing to three-digit bearing. So now in the third example, let us try to convert a three-digit bearing to a compass bearing. Please take note that this is the last example I will be solving for myself, and then each of you would have to answer one question each. Each person in the class has to answer one question. That will help us to know if we are good to proceed. So now let's see if we can convert a three-digit bearing to a compass bearing. So let's say we have this. Let's say we have this, and okay, let's say we have this, and yeah. So a three-digit bearing would come from the north down to the south. And let's say this is 230 degrees. This now is a three-digit bearing. Unlike example 1 and 2, we're converting compass bearing to three-digit bearing. But in this case, we are converting, in example 3, we are converting three-digit bearing now to compass bearing. So let us see what we can do. Now take note that three-digit bearings were read from the north down until we get to that line, which is the point where the wherever the object is located. So this three-digit bearing was read from the north down to the southwestern part. Then what we got there was 230 degrees so far. Now, in the converting this to a compass bearing, we would have to say that to a compass bearing, we would have to say that if from the north down to this place is 180, we know that from the north down to that place is 180. We do know that because each of them, we have talked about it before, said each of them are 90, 90, 90. So meaning from the north down to this place is 180, right? Okay. So if from the north down to the south is 180, then there is now an extra line there. There's now an extra line. As you can see, there's now an extra line here. What about line here as there? So everything for three-digit bearing from that north down to that line is 230 degrees. Now from the north down to the south is 180. So what is this extra angle that was added to the 180 that made us to get 230 degrees? What is that? An extra was added to it. That's why we're having 230 degrees, because only from the north to the south is 180, as we know. But then it proceeded past the south. It proceeded a little bit forward, and then we said everything is 230, but from the north to the south is 180. So what is this other? Let's mark that place. Let's mark that part, purple. So what is this purple? What is this other small place, this other small angle that made this place to the complete stop to be 230, whereas only north to south is 180? What is this extra small angle that was added to 180 such that we're having 230 degrees? So Lucas, let's come to you. Lucas, what is that other small angle? 50 degrees angle. Okay, so Lucas said that the other small angle is 50 degrees. That means he's saying that the purple angle is equals to 50 degrees. So let's hear from another person. Lucas said the purple angle, that small part, purple, is 50 degrees. So let's hear from another person. Efosa, what do you think? Efosa, Lucas said that that small angle is 50 degrees. What do you think?
I, I, I agree with you.
You agree with him? Would you want to
Yeah, I agree
explain
with him.
why this?
Mm.
Okay, Efosa, would you want to explain why you think it is actually 50 degrees?
Because the first quadrant, the second quadrant is 90. Then this third part, for it to complete 230, you have to have 50 like oh explain.
Yes, that's correct. So for it to complete 230, meaning they added an extra 50 degrees. And then if they added an extra 50 degrees, if an extra 50 degrees was added to that, that means what we have is actually, we have this small place here, to be 50 degrees. And remember, this is south, this is east. This is south, this is east. And you know that in compass bearing, we are always looking for where the angle would touch the south or touch the north. So that other small place, purple, is 50 degrees, and that 50 degrees is touching the south. So if that 50 degrees is touching the south, then the three-digit bearing for this is south 50 degrees east. So this is now the three-digit bearing for, I'm sorry, this is south 50 degrees east is the compass bearing for 230 degrees, which is a three-digit bearing. Therefore means that when we convert 230 degrees, which is a three-digit bearing, when we convert it to a compass bearing, the answer becomes south 50 degrees east. Why? Because from the north to the south is 180, meaning that balanced small place marked purple must be 50. And in compass bearings, we're always reading northeast, north south, or southeast, northeast, northwest, or southeast, southwest. And then that 50 degrees is now touching the south. So we say the compass bearing is south 50 degrees east. So when you convert 230 degrees as a three-digit bearing to compass bearing, the result you have is south 50 degrees east. Does everybody understand this? Okay, Lucas said he understands. Matilda, do you understand this? Okay, Matilda says he understands. Efosa says he understands. So I think we are safe to now come to your turn. So your turn. I hope you're prepared. This is now your turn. We'll start with, so just so I inform
Yes,
you.
sir, we understand.
All right, so just so I inform you, we are starting with I'm trying to look at everybody here in the class. So there are 4 people here. Winner, even on and off. I do not think you would be able to answer questions because I doubt if you got the most of the work we've done. So Lucas, you'll be the first to answer a question. You'll be the first. So make a choice. Would you prefer to convert from 3 digits to compass, or would you want to convert from compass to 3 digits? Lucas. Oh, that's good. Lucas is so confident. He said anyone is okay. Well, that's the amount of confidence you have to build on yourself. That's a good one. I would have to commend you on that. So let's take the first question for Lucas. Lucas will be converting Lucas will be converting from 3 digits, no, from compass to 3 digits. So Lucas, I hope you have your writing aid with you because you might have to do a little bit of work. So Lucas will convert. Look, let's see the work we've done. Let's see what we've done. We've done southeast, done northwest. Okay, let's do southwest. All right, Lucas, you will convert the south 70 degrees west. You will convert south 70 degrees west. Tell us the results as a 3-digit bearing. Lucas, you will convert south 70 degrees west. Tell us the result as a 3-digit bearing. South 70 degrees west from compass to 3 digits. All right, so Melody, Efosa, are you here? Okay, Efosa is here. Okay, Efosa, you will take the second question after Lucas must have been
Okay,
done
sir.
with it. So prepare yourself. Efusa is taking the second question. All right, Lucas, we're waiting on you. What is the result when south 70 degrees west is converted to a 3-digit bearing? Lucas, let us know if you're still calculating so that we can wait on you. All right, so Lucas is doing the maths. Lucas is doing the work. So let's wait for. Okay, all right. He wants us to go back to the question. South 70 degrees west. South 70 degrees west. Efosa, I'll just give you your question. I'll just give you your question so that you can start working while we wait for Lucas. So Efosa will take Efosa, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to convert from compass to 3 digits, or would you like 3 digits to compass? Efosa.
Okay, okay, sir.
Can you repeat what you just said, Efosa? Efosa, we can't hear you. I was asking, would you prefer 3 digits to compass or compass to 3 digits?
Anyone. Sir, anyone will be
Oh,
okay.
anyone as well. All right, so anyone, that's the level of confidence. That's good.
I said, sir,
Yeah, yeah,
anyone will be
yeah. I got
okay.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. So anyone would be fine. I'm actually commending your level of confidence. Same with Lucas. They did say anyone would be fine. So, Matilda,
I said
yes, I
anyone will
got,
be okay.
yes, I got you. I've heard you. So, Matilda, can you hear us?
Yes,
Matilda, you'll be taking the third
anyone will be
question, so prepare yourself. You'll be taking the third question, and in case anybody
okay.
gets Efosa, Efosa, I have heard you. I've heard you for the umpteenth time. Yes, I heard you. So that's fine. So Matilda, you'll be taking the third question. So prepare yourself in case anyone gets theirs wrong. You will take theirs. Lucas, how far have you gone? Yeah, Matilda, yes, I got that. You're active. Lucas, how far have you gone? Is Lucas still here? Lucas, okay. Lucas, how
Okay,
far have
sorry,
you gone?
it's 250.
250 degrees. All right, let's see.
250 degree, yeah, on
Let's see
the
if it's 250. Yeah, on the third digit. Okay, so let's test Lucas's answer to see if it's actually 250 degrees. So first off, we'll have the south 70 degrees west is we'll have the 70 degrees here because this is the south and this is the west. Okay, so now if we are to convert this to a three-digit bearing, you can see the south is a compass bearing. So if we are to convert it to a three-digit bearing, we would have um, as a three-digit bearing, we would have this is 70.
70.
So we would have to count to draw the line from the north down until we get to this line. From the north down until we get to the line, let's mark that line purple. So from the north down until we get to the line purple. Yeah. So from from the north down to this line, red. From
90,
the north
180.
from the north down to red is 180. So from the north down to red is 180. And you can see that the line went past red. From the north down to red, 180, but the line continues to go until it got to purple. And that purple, only that from the red to purple is 70. You can see it here. From red to purple is 70. So if only from north to red is 180 and from red to purple is 70, that means the bearing is 180 plus 70 to give you the complete angle, which is 250 degrees. So Lucas is right. The three-digit bearing for south 70 degrees west is 250 degrees. So Lucas is very correct. Does anyone does anyone have does anyone feel that that's not correct?
Oh,
Does everybody agree with that answer? Lucas's answer. Lucas's answer is 250. Does everybody agree? Okay, Matilda agrees. Efosa agrees. Which other person? Okay, all right, good. So everybody agreed. So Efosa, you are to take the next one. You did say that you're taking the next question. Okay, are you prepared? Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So Efosa, you will convert from three digits to compass. Efosa will convert from 3 digits to a compass bearing. So
Okay,
this is
sir.
what we'll do. Okay, so let's draw the 3 digit bearing and 3 digit. Okay, let us say we have coming. Let me see. Let's see the ones I've done. Okay. Efosa, what would be the compass bearing of this? What would be the compass bearing of this 3 digit bearing? This is a 3 digit bearing. What would be the compass bearing? Would you need me to go back to the question? Efosa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a question. 3 digit bearing, 75 degrees. What would be the compass bearing of this? That is when you convert it to compass bearing. What would it be? Remember, compass bearings, the angles must border with a north or with a south. So this angles concerns the north though. So what would be the compass bearing of this?
So I think the answer is 15.
15. A compass bearing cannot just be ordinary 15 now. Compass bearing must be north so and so degrees east, north so and so degrees west. So what exactly?
Okay. Not 15 degree east.
North 15 degrees east. Okay.
Yeah.
Efosa's answer is for 75 degrees as a compass as a 3 digit bearing. Efosa said the result should be north 15 degrees east. So let's hear from the class first to see if we have to agree with that answer. Golden, have you been in the class? Can we hear from you? What do you think about Efosa's answer? Efosa said that the bearing there should be not 15 degrees east. Do you think we should agree with that?
I was not in the class, just I entered the class.
Yes.
My
Yes,
network was
you
failing.
did. Okay. All right. That's fine. Winner, who has been off and on? I don't know if you can answer this question. Winner, do you think you can answer this question? Do you think you can give us your opinion on this? Oh, Winner isn't responsive. Look, okay, Fosa already said that. Matilda. Okay. Winner just responded. So, Winner, let's hear from you. What do you think? Do you think we should agree with a Fosa? Do you think we should agree with a Fosa that this bearing in compass should be not 15 degrees east? Winner. Oh, I think Winner is speaking, but I can't hear her. think the network has been very bad today. Okay, Matilda is next. Let's just hear from Matilda. We can't hear you. Matilda. Okay, Lucas has given us his opinion. Lucas disagreed with Efosa's answer. All right, so let's hear from Matilda. Matilda, do you think Efosa's answer, not 15 degrees east, do you think is agreeable? Matilda, not 15 degrees east. Do you think we should agree to that? Matilda isn't responsive. Matilda isn't responsive. So Melody has not been responsive at any time in the class, but she's always in the class. Melody, can you hear us?
Yes,
Oh.
sir.
Oh, Melody spoke to us today. Melody, should we agree with Efosa's answer that the result is not 15 degrees east?
Sir, I didn't see the question.
All right, this is the question. This is the 3-digit bearing that we're supposed to convert to a compass bearing. This is it. We're supposed to convert it to a compass bearing here. You see the compass, that's the one at the left-hand side. And so we have this here. And then Efosa said the result is not 15 degrees east. Well, I'm having problems agreeing with our answer. So that's why I'm asking for the opinions of other students to see if we should
No,
agree. So what do you
it's not
think
15
about
degrees east.
that?
It's not 15
You
degrees
said
east. It's not
the answer?
15 degrees east.
Okay,
It's not
so
correct.
Efosa, not 15 degrees east is correct. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so Efosa now has someone that agrees with her, not 15 degrees east. But Lucas disagreed, and I also want to disagree as well. So I am in the side of Lucas. I think that, or should I say, I know that that answer should not be not 15 degrees east. And this is why it should not be not 15 degrees east. So let's come to the compass. Let's come to the compass bearing, the part of the compass bearing. We have this. This is 75 degrees. Yeah. We know that this is north and this is east. Now look at this. In a compass bearing, what should the angle be bordered with? Is it not the north or the south? This 75 degrees is touching the north. Why do we have to subtract to get 15 degrees that will be touching the east when we cannot say 15 degrees because that means it will touch the east and we can't 15 is northwest, south is southwest. So if this is what we agree on, then why should we have to subtract 75 from 90 to get 15 and say not 15 degrees east because that 15 degrees will be touching the east and we do not need an angle that will be touching the east because this is a compass bearing. We need angles that either touches the north or touches the south. So if 75 degrees is already touching the north, then we don't have to subtract. We simply say that this is not 75 degrees east, because that 75 degrees is touching the north as it is. 75 degrees is touching the north, and as far as 75 degrees is touching the north, then we don't have to subtract. When you subtract, that 15 degrees will be touching the east, meaning you're looking for the angle that is touching the east. That means you're supposed to say east 15 degrees north, which is impossible as a compass bearing. You can only say northeast, northwest, northeast, north. So that 75 degrees already touching the north is just straightforward north 75 degrees east. Efosa, do you understand why your answer is wrong? Efosa, do you understand why your answer is wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The who was the person that agreed with you? Melody. Is Melody, are you still here? Okay, Melody is here. Melody, do you understand why that's not 15 degrees east shouldn't be the answer now?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. So Lucas's suggestion would I think yeah, that's the correct one. I agree with Lucas there. So it's not 75 degrees east because the 75 degrees is already touching the north. So you don't have to go and subtract to get what will be touching the east. You don't need what will be touching the east in a compass bearing. It is what touches the north or what touches the south that you need. Matilda, we haven't forgotten about you. You're taking the third one. We did say that. So Matilda will take the third one, and then we'll try to see if we can progress to bearings between 2 points. There's no way we will want to rush the class if you do not understand the foundational part of bearing. A bearing is a very simple topic, but you must understand the foundational parts very well before you proceed. So we're actually supposed to get to the bearings between 2 points, but we have to make sure that this foundation is okay. Otherwise, we'll keep having problems when we proceed to the much complex parts. So let's deal with this first. So Matilda, make a choice here. Would you prefer to convert from 3 digits to compass, or you would want compass to 3 digits? Hmm. All right, Matilda says she's active. Very good. Confident, that's a good thing. So Matilda says she's active. So I think that we will take for Matilda's turn. Let's take 3 digits to compass. For Matilda's turn, let's take 3 digits to compass. So for Matilda's turn, we're taking this. I think I have to increase this. Uh, what do we do here? Let us say that, okay. Um, all right, Matilda, convert this bearing. Oh, this is a 3 digit. Sorry, I actually intended to. This isn't call me. Let me calculate. I'm trying to a question that would be composite 3 digits would be okay, let's deal with this. Let's say and okay, so Matilda, we have this 3-digit bearing. Half from the north down to that line as 265. From the north down to that line, 265 degrees. So what would be the compass bearing of this, Matilda? 265 degrees, that's the 3-digit bearing. So what would be the compass bearing? So it's Matilda's turn. Would you want me to go back to the question, Matilda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a question. This is a 3-digit bearing. Convert it to a compass bearing and let's see the results we should have. So Matilda, I guess you're calculating now. And then I hope you don't need me to go back to the question, do you?
No, sir.
All right. So I'm actually looking for one last person to take this. Golden hasn't. Okay, Lucas. Lucas has a question. Lucas, okay. I hope you're not going to answer Matilda's question. Matilda is still solving. So Lucas, let's hear from you. You raised your hand. Oh, okay. Say that was a mistake. Why is Winner laughing? Winner, what's funny? Why are you laughing? Winner, do you have something to say? You've been off and on, so couldn't ask you questions today. I know you've been a very active student, but you've been off and on today, so don't think it's yeah, because you might not be able to answer some of the questions since you're not here in the class. Yes, I'm aware. I thought so too. I thought it would be network, so that's okay. We'll take a quick run of the class. So probably if your network is okay, you'll be able to get up to speed. We'll take a quick run of the class before we end it. But we're still waiting on Matilda. Matilda's answer. Matilda is
Please go back to the question.
Matilda. You said what is the result? Oh, Matilda, we didn't get that. What did you say was the result?
I said, please go back to the question.
Okay, this is the question. (265 degrees) as a 3-digit bearing. What is the result in compass bearing?
So this is kind of confusing. South 5 degree west.
South what?
5 degree west.
South 5 degrees west.
So let me try.
Who wants to try? Oh,
Let me
winner.
try.
All right. So winner. Oh no, Lucas, no. Lucas has answered 2 questions tonight. No, Lucas, no. Let's hear from Obaumi, winner. All right, winner. So what do you think? Should I go to the question? Winner, I said you wanted to try. We're waiting.
South 85 degree west.
South 85 degrees west. I think I will agree with that. I think I want to agree with that. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Matilda, please pay attention to this so that we can calculate it. And it's almost time because I have to take a quick recap of what we've done before we end the class. So Matilda, please pay attention to this. I will explain why I agree
I
with
will
winner that it's south 85 degrees west. Yeah. So now, first off,
So I will calculate
if we
and answer before we now talk.
sorry, what did you say?
I will calculate and answer before we now answer the question.
Okay, so did you get south 85 degrees west?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. So the answer is actually south 85 degrees west. So let's try to see why it's south 85 degrees west. So first off, if we draw this, if we draw the compass, we know that you see everywhere here from here to here. Let me mark this. Let me mark this with red. So from here to here, look at those two places I marked out now. Red, red. Yeah. All right. So from here to here, we know that it's 180. That's 90 plus 90, 180. Now there's an extra line there. There's an extra line. And it said from the north down to this line, that line marked red. Okay, let me mark it here with something else, purple. I'll mark it with purple. So from the north now down to that place marked purple is 265. From the north down to that place marked purple is 265. But if you look at this other one that are red, you will see that if from the north to the south is 180, then there was an extra angle that was added to that 180 that will give you 265. There was an extra angle that was added to it. And then to get that extra angle that was added to it, you have to say 265 minus 180, and this will give you 85 degrees. That gives you 85 degrees. And of course, if that gives you 85 degrees, then it means that this place here, this place here, only that small place is 85 degrees. Only that small place is 85 degrees. Why? Because you can see that from the north to the south is 180. Then that extra that made it 265, that extra is 85. And you already know that for a compass bearing, you are looking at those angles that will be touching the south or touching the north. And that 85, as you can see, is touching the south. So since it's touching the south, this bearing is south 85 degrees west. So yeah, so Matilda is correct. Winner is correct as well. So this is for the three-digit bearing. There is also angle bearings between 2 points, and there are bearings between 3 points, but we couldn't rush the class because you have to, like we've said before, you have to get these foundational parts very well. If these foundational parts are very good, then you would have no problem at all with the other parts going forward. So quickly, before we end the class, we're going to take a quick recap for those people whose network were not so good. So we started by revising what we did before from the starting of the class, the north, east, west, and south. Then the points between north and east, northeast, point between north and west, northwest, point between north, south and east, southwest, points between south and west, southwest. And then we did this first one. We said that 25 degrees was touching the south, so the compass bearing is south 25 degrees east. We then say that this 25 degrees for this second one is not touching the south. So we have to look for that balance that will touch the south because each of those quadrants are 90. And then we got that the balance should be 65 degrees. And then the result for that compass bearing is south 65 degrees east. Then for the three-digit bearing, we said we have to be adding all the 90-90 in each quadrant. We also went on to talk about the kind of angles that we can find in each quadrant. 0 to 90 for the first, greater than 90 to 180 for the second, greater than 180 to 270 for the third, greater than 270 to 360 for the fourth. And now we proceeded to look for how we can convert three-digit bearing to compass bearing and compass bearing to three-digit bearing. When we did that, we got this south at 5 degrees east. You see the workings there and all of it, how we converted it. We said we were following that line. So if from north to south is 180, and that small place is 35 already. So we have to trace from the north until where we have that red marked. And we said the balance will be 145 degrees. So we got that. The same thing we did for the next one, not 20 degrees east. This is a not 20 degrees eastward compass. We then proceeded to the three digits, counted from the north until we got to that line. From the north until the purple was 270. Then that small line marked yellow, we said it would be 70 because that top is 20. So we're supposed to have complete 90. And then we said the yellow is 70. So the full line there is the purple, which is 270, plus that extra yellow, which is 70, gave us 340. And then we applied the same knowledge for the rest of them until we're able to come at this where everybody were able to get the results correctly. Now that everybody has been able to get the results correctly, next time when we meet, we will proceed to bearings between 2 points. Then, if the time permits, bearings between 3 points. So, does anybody have a question so far in today's class? All right, so everybody says that they are good, they're cool with the class, so nobody has a question. So then I think it is safe for us to end the class here. Until next time, do take care of yourself and please do not forget to always study. Yes, study, and then consistency does it. Make sure you take, even if it's just an hour of your class to study every day. Even if an hour, just an hour of your free time, use it to study. The exam is so near, it's already close. This is about your future. Do not forget. Forget about playing too much for now and look at the bright side. Your future, that's the most important. So until next time I catch you, take care of yourself and bye for now.
Rina, what's up? Hello. Network. Your network not too good. Share your that side everything, sha. Golden. Good evening. Melody, good evening. Golden, good evening.